Hi, I'm Hyun Choi, and I'm an undergraduate student studying business in Seoul National University in Korea. Today, I'm very honored to be here to share my experiences to future USTEP participants. I participated in USTEP program from April 2019 to March 2020, which was just before the pandemic started. I just heard the sad news last week that new entry into Japan will be blocked again for long-term visa holders. But all of you must have been looking forward to the start of USTEP program, a new life in Japan. So I hope that things will turn around really soon. Before I get started, I apologize for my bad English skills, as I'm much more used to speaking Japanese than English. But anyway, I'll try my best to share my experience to all of you. First of all, I want to know what event do you expect the most for the upcoming exchange program? Indeed, many events such as classes, part-time jobs, or leisure activities and that kind of thing are waiting for you in Tokyo. I recommend you to try as many things as possible because all of the activities will be your great memories in the end. Today, I'd like to talk to you about two subjects, which are classes and club activity. And let's start with talking about classes first. I'm actually more used to using Japanese than English, so I took all of the classes in Japanese. Although I major in business, I've always been highly interested in Japan, so I took classes that looked interesting, regardless of their departments. I want to share two of the most interesting classes. One is a class about literature, or how novels written by Mark Twain translated in Japanese on early 20th century. I'm especially interested in modern Japanese society, so it was very interesting to know how Japan let American cultures in while it was experiencing big changes. The other one is a class about media, and it was a seminar about modern Japanese periodical publication, and each student had to make a presentation for an hour about a certain periodical. So I made my presentation about a magazine called Osaka Puck, which was a bi-monthly comic magazine published from 1906 to 1950. At first, I felt kind of overwhelmed since I hadn't made such a long presentation, even in Korea back then. But I tried my best because it was an interesting topic. And finally, fortunately, I was able to make it successfully. For the preparation, I visited Meiji Bunko in Hongo campus, where you can directly see some real publications in old days, and Japanese National Diet Library, which is located in Kokkai Gijido Mae Station in Tokyo. I feel very sorry for not being able to explain about those classes in more detail since we don't have much time, but I just want to say to you that you can attend the classes that you can learn about Japan very deeply in University of Tokyo. And I'm sure it is an opportunity only given in UTokyo. I hope all of you explore more about your favorite points of Japan through various classes. And next, I'd like to share my own club activity experience to you. I participated in University of Tokyo Cheerleading Club, or OMBU, as a cheerleader. Many people ask me, why OMBU? Why cheerleading club? The reason was simple. I just wanted to challenge new things since I was completely novice when it comes to cheerleading. And at the same time, I wanted to experience OMBU, which was a quiet, quite interesting Japanese culture for me. I was completely fascinated by the mixture of Rida, which means boys wearing old school uniform, and Leita Club, brass dance, and cheerleaders. Cheerleading club in Korea is kind of different from that in Japan. And I believe Japanese cheerleading club is really a Japanese style. Cheerleading club is regarded as bukatsu, which means a type of club activities that requires members to participate very actively. Many Japanese students who choose bukatsu usually continue participating for 4 years, which means until they graduate from university. As a cheerleader, I took part in lots of different kinds of activities. For example, I went cheerleading for many other sports clubs in University of Tokyo. It depends on members, but for me, I cheered a baseball team, rowing team, handball, and lacrosse. But we're having relationships with many other teams too, such as American football, cycling, soccer, speed skating, and etc. I also joined in demonstration on Komabasai, a university festival which is held in every November. I remember how bad the weather was back then and how hard it was to dance on the slippery floor, as you can see in the picture. But it was also a great memory since we were able to make a promotion of our club to non-university members. And I also was on the annual stage. University of Tokyo Cheerleading Club held two stages annually, Hansei-sai on November and Teiki Ensokai on December. Each stage is slightly different, but I mainly danced and presented stunts. I can't still forget the excitement that I felt when I succeeded in a high-level stunt in front of the audience. All of the memories were marvelous, but I'd like to say that one of the most precious memory was cheering up University of Tokyo baseball team. University of Tokyo is joining in a baseball league called Tokyo Big Six, which is also joined by Keio, Waseda, Rikkyo, Hosei, and Meiji University. The league has a very long history and has been holding a baseball league every spring and fall. What's more, the league is held in Meiji Jingu Baseball Stadium, which is currently also used by a professional baseball team called Yakuruto Swallows. I was really excited to be part of it, and it was such a great opportunity to experience strong passion of Japanese university students for sports. In 2019, our club had 39 cheerleader members, and of course, I was regarded as a freshman. There were 11 freshmen, including me, and all of the members were really great. And of course, 38 cheerleaders, excluding me, were all Japanese students. I joined the club after I participated in trial practice for 4 times. Basically, I went practicing 4 times a week, and regular practice took place on the building called Training Gym, which is located in Komaba campus. But I heard that the building is torn down right now. We also had 2 training camps, and each was for a week in Nagano and for 3 days in Gunma Prefecture. We were able to strengthen a relationship by staying and practicing together for a long time. It wasn't easy, of course, to spend so many days practicing dance and stunts and to live in an environment full with non-mother tongue language. However, I believe I was able to directly experience a part of life in Japanese university, improve my Japanese skills, and most of all, make lots of precious friends there. I believe some of you are not familiar with using Japanese and worried about upcoming new life with unfamiliar place, language, and students. And so did I. There weren't enough information about classes, and I'd never even heard of any example of exchange students participating in bukatsu back then. But if you're interested in interacting with local students and experiencing real Japanese university life, please give it a shot for classes and club activities that you're interested in. I'm sure that whether you're a fluent Japanese speaker or not, visiting student or not, people in University of Tokyo will welcome you as long as you're interested in their activities. Congratulations again on your start of USTEP program, and I hope all of you spend happy moments in University of Tokyo. Thank you.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Kamala. I'm a former USTEP student from Indonesia, and I've studied in UTokyo from April 2019 until February 2020. And I'm so happy to be here to share a bit of my experience when I study in UTokyo. So probably you guys asked numerous times about how does it feel studying in UTokyo as an USTEP student. So I'm going to explain a little bit. Coincidentally and fortunately, I spent most of my spring semester in Komaba campus and autumn semester in Hongo campus. And I think that's a nice experience. So as you know, Komaba campus is a home for junior division, big students, and liberal art majors, and it's close to Shibuya. So many young people. And also, UTokyo has so many students club, and most of them doing their activities in Komaba campus. So you can expect the environment are way more like lively, youthful. In the morning, you will see the student rush to go to the class. And the evening, they will be like busy practicing their hip hop dance in front of the co-op store and etc. So, as you know, I didn't speak Japanese when I landed in Japan for the first time. So most of the classes that I took were in English spoken courses. And the classes are quite big. I would probably say more than 15 people in a class. It's quite big in Tokyo. It means because it's English spoken courses, not many Japanese students there. But don't worry, because Komaba campus and Hongo campus has many clubs which you can join as well to make a friend with Japanese students, deepen your knowledge about Japan and improve your Japanese as I did. And also international office often hold various events and parties for international students, so please don't miss it. Okay. As you can see, some of the pictures of mine. First, it's the sushi. I know it looks ugly. It doesn't look edible, but trust me, this sushi, it's edible and it's tasty. So one day, TGIF, it's a student club in UTokyo, held the making sushi together. It was my first time making a sushi, and I know it looks ugly, but trust me, there's no Japanese restaurant in this world sells this sushi because it has amazing flavors. I put not only salmon and tamagoyaki, but also potato chips and every chips that I could find in this room and put it in my sushi. So that's amazing flavor, and it's a fun experience because you will make a sushi with not only international students, but also Japanese students. You will have a conversation with them, has a lot of story. It's a fun night. Please don't miss it. And because I'm always into the cooking and cuisine, I also took the cooking Japanese cuisine class. I learned how to make a chicken teriyaki, onigiri, miso suru, and the Japanese dessert. And also UTokyo has an amazing kitchen in the second floor in the Komaba campus. So I'm so happy to be able to cook there finally. And then the third picture, it's the pictures I took with my friends after Japanese classes. As you know, I didn't speak Japanese for when I landed in Japan for the first time. So I took Japanese classes in Komaba, and it's quite intense. For 4 times a week, so many homeworks, but you will make a good relationship with your classmates. And then a kabuki performance. It's once in a lifetime. Kabuki performance, it's an amazing performance. And I think the ticket was very expensive and it's not easy to get it because the performance will be in Japanese and you have to understand which kabuki performance you are able to watch, which your language level. And I'm so grateful because UTokyo provided us with a free kabuki ticket performance. It was so amazing. That was the first time I watched the kabuki performance, and I still remember the performance still now. And please, if the UTokyo provide with that, please don't miss it because it will be amazing experience. And then during spring semester, there will be a lot of festivals, including May Festival. So May Festival is one of the biggest student festival, I think, in Tokyo. It will held for a couple of days, I think 3 or 7 days, and you will see a lot of students' performance, students' project, street food stalls, including international stalls. So it's really amazing. I also participate in this photography exhibition. As you can see in the third pictures, that's one of my photos that I submitted for photography exhibition in a May Festival. So even though you cannot speak Japanese or you are don't really know about Japan, please don't be afraid or hesitate to join a lot of the events and festivals because they will welcome you and they will help you with the language barriers. Again, then we move to Hongo campus. As you know, I spent most of the autumn semester in Hongo campus. It's the main campus of UTokyo because it's a home for a lot of graduate schools. So the courses are more specific and advanced. So you have to expect that if you want to join some of the classes, sometimes you have to submit an essay or answer several questions on anything the professor asks before you can join the class. And the class is usually smaller with less than 15 people. So you can expect have the very intensive discussion with the professor and your classmate as well. And the area is bigger and it's more facility, and the environment is very contrastive with Kawaba. It's way more mature, calmer, and more serious. As you can see in the general library in Hongo campus, it's like a vintage, used with a red carpeted grandy stairway. since I way more focused on studying in Hongo campus, I think it's because of the assignment and the courses. It's very interesting and a lot of assignments. I didn't join a lot of events, but don't worry. During autumn semester, there will be a lot of events and parties as well, including like hiking in Mount Takao and then Christmas parties as well. And I think studying in Hongo campus during autumn season, it's the best time for you. Why? Because there's a reason why UTokyo symbol is ginkgo leaf, because it's one of the best places in Tokyo to witness the beauty of ginkgo leaves, because you walk under the canopy of ginkgo trees every single day during autumn season. And also the international officers are very helpful to international students. If you are Muslim like me, please don't hesitate to ask the international office about the prayer room or about the halal meal. And during orientation day, the international office will explain about disaster survival, including basic information, survival map, and self-preparation. And I think it's really important why my country is prone with the natural disaster as well. And I think we don't really get much information about how to survive during natural disaster compared when I was in Japan. And I think many of you is coming from a country which sometimes you don't really know what is earthquake or tsunami. So please pay attention to that information, because you will experience a lot of earthquakes and tsunami when you are in Japan. And I think studying in UTokyo is more than just a cultural experience. There are many scholars, experts, and industry professionals present at the classes and seminars. It's an amazing experience to see a lot of important people in Japan, like my professor is Professor Kichi Fujiwara and the other professor, and I'm so grateful to be able to study in their class and help me to graduate from my university in Indonesia. And we were talking about housing. What do you expect when about housing in UTokyo and where to stay? And as you know, UTokyo has several dormitories, such as Komaba Main, Komaba Lodge Annex, and Mitaka. And I think the closest one with Komaba Campus 1 is Komaba Main, and then followed by Komaba Lodge Annex, and then Mitaka. I'm undergraduate students, and I joined the undergraduate students program. And I think most of international students stay in Komaba Main and Mitaka instead of Komaba Lodge Annex. Komaba Lodge Annex mostly graduate students. So if you're undergraduate students and study near Komaba, I suggest you to Komaba Main or Mitaka. The most expensive is Komaba Lodge Annex, but yeah, they have a lot of more facilities. Mitaka is the fairest, but cheapest and still accessible, so don't worry about that. Housing staff are very helpful and kind, so please don't worry, even though sometimes some of them, they don't really speak English, but they will help you very well. And sometimes housing office also throw events or parties during the early semester. And then housing office also has earthquake simulation training for international students. And it's really, really important. When I was in Japan, I think I experienced 9 times earthquake. It's more than when I was in my country. And it's really important to stay calm during natural disasters. And also around the housing, there would be a lot of local associations like KIND organization who held a lot of the events and free events or free trip. So if you have a time, please join. You will have a conversation with local Japanese people and have more knowledge about Japan. I think that's all. And I hope you, if you accepted in UTokyo, I hope you enjoy in UTokyo. Thank you.